You back out and about with Marcus G and Coach with the Play.
Coach TB, you know what it is.
We're going to talk about never hustling backwards.
Always hustling forward.
And the way that you do that is by building mutual beneficial relationships. That's the only way to start off and continue is to have a great relationship and build, because you're going to waste a bunch of time not building solid relationships. And then you end up finding people doing all sorts of weird stuff that we want to avoid in business, especially in our life.
You want to enjoy your business partnership. You know, in order to enjoy the work that you do, you want to manifest great relationships.
Exactly. We try to make sure that these episodes sort of build on one another, but you can watch them in any order. At the end of the day, it's all about business, life, and being successful.
Absolutely.
The article is really entitled Building Mutual Beneficial Relationships.
So that means it should be beneficial for both parties.
Exactly.
Not just you.
And that's where you always can tell if a person is worth doing business with.
Absolutely.
Because if they're only focused on what they can get out the relationship, then you're going to have problems, because it's all about the negotiation and building these relationships from the beginning and the end. We all want things in life.
You're right about that. Some people are focused mainly on what they want out of the business deal or what they want out of the business transaction versus saying, okay, I want to get what I want, but I want you to get what you want to. So where can we meet in the middle? Will bring forth positive and beneficial relationship between the two business partners are thinking of each other the same way as they thinking of themselves.
It goes beyond just negotiating relationships and business partners. It goes into every day and every aspect of your life, because you got to be able to negotiate great deals. You got to be able to say, what do I bring to the table? What is my value? What do I have to offer? And a lot of people don't understand the value in what they have until it's gone. And we want to make sure you get that value and understand the value of the things that we doing, you doing, the world's doing, so that you can really capitalize and make the world a better place.
Business tips.
In both business and life, the foundation of enduring success lies in establishing mutual beneficial agreements. Relationships thrive when they are both on foundations of mutual respect and sharing goals.
Absolutely.
The way you start off your negotiation will dictate the rest of the relationship. Believe it or not, you can tell in the first 5 minutes of which way it's going to go. You get these feelings all the time. I get them. And I sit here and I talk to people. I used to fight it a lot, but I had to break myself free of doing that, because we want the best for people. But not always people want the best for everybody else. They just after what they want. And you got to be careful with that. There's nothing wrong with going after that you want. I say go after it every day. But understand that there's a balance, and you can't be egotistical. You can't be greedy. You can't be like it's all about me. It's about everybody. Because if one win, we all win. If one lose, we all lose.
You get to a point where you find yourself not wanting to deal with certain type of people that conduct themselves in a fashion where they involve in emotions with the business. Unless you understand how to get control of your emotions, you will never, ever be successful in business without learning how to control your emotions. Because if you don't learn how to control your emotions are automatically going to infiltrate the business deal that you're working on. Eliminate those emotions when it comes to doing business. Building a respectful, mutual relationship with your business partner is key. We found out we wanted to be in the same place in 12 months. Talk about that. We said, Dad, we want to be in the same place. So why not? Let's go ahead, build this together, and get to that place in 12 months, because we both understood each other's goals. We both was inclined to ask each other about our goals, which created a good business relationship. And that's the tip. We're telling you that you have to create great mutual business relationships so that the business can scale and be successful.
You know, we've been doing business for a minute.
1998.
It goes to say selfishness, ego, and greed often obstruct progress, imposes hidden costs that can manifest in various detrimental ways, such as forming alliances with the wrong people for the wrong reasons. To avoid this pitfall and create lasting, productive partnerships, several principles should guide your approach.
Capiche?
The importance of objectivity to negotiation. He just broke down that you can't let your emotions get the best of you. A lot of people do, and I see it happen all the time when I sit there and negotiate, and sometimes I had to fall back and be like, you know what, we're going to reconvene later, we're going to try this again. And sometimes that, again, never happens because the emotions are too high and they're not being objective. It's just like, look, I came to do a job. I want to get this done. I like you as a person, but I may not be able to do business with you because this is part of my business in life. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur, investor. So, you know, when it comes down to this business stuff, it is my life. I enjoy it. And I don't want to waste time with people who don't get it. Objectivity is critical in recognizing all possibilities and negotiating fair deals. When emotions or personal bias cloud judgment, it becomes challenging to see the bigger picture or appreciate the potential benefits of all involved.
Emotional bias.
That's the thing.
Read that line again.
Emotional or personal bias clouds judgment. It becomes challenging to see the bigger picture.
Challenging to see. Now, personal biases. Let's tap on that real quick.
Okay.
Now, don't get mad at me, right? But Baltimore, right? Ever since you was a little kid, you went to where? Sea Pride,
Bay Island.
Bay Island, so what is it? Sea Pride. You've been to those places when you was a little kid. You know you have. Don't even try. And you seen those crabs.
Good crabs, though.
They got good crabs.
They got good crabs over there. But continue.
We ain't talking about the taste of the crabs right now. We talking about the behavior of the crab.
The bad taste of the crab.
No, not the behavior of the crab. The bad taste of the crab. So when you saw those crabs, right, and they was trying to pick them up and put them in the steamer, and the other one was holding on to the other one and holding on to the other one. I think that did something to a lot of y'all when y'all was kids, man. It made you think that you're supposed to conduct yourself in the same fashion. Well, I beg to differ. You cannot be holding on to your brother when he trying to get up, man. That's the crab behavior. You understand? Don't allow things that you saw in your life to create a bias. I suggest stay neutral. Don't let nothing change your judgment or alter your judgment from right and wrong. That's so simple. You letting all these cloudy things come into your mind, your personal biases can interfere with the business partnership, which Marcus was just explaining. Now, being the good guy Marcus is, he's going to try to tell those people, hey, man, your personal bias is clouding your judgment, and try to train and teach them and tell them, hey, where they're going wrong. But a lot of times, their biases are so in-depth and so heightened that you can't really tell them nothing. So we're going to take the time right now to tell you on the podcast, watch your personal biases based on the perceptions and things you have saw in life. You don't have to act on those things. You know what's right and you know what's wrong. So stick to that. Makes it very, very easy to develop a mutual, successful business partnership.
Staying objective ensures that decisions are made based on facts and logic rather than on fleeing emotions and self-serving interests. The approach not only fosters trust, it also helps craft agreements that are fair and beneficial to all parties. Is all we trying to get at. Because we're going to be out here doing a lot of deals with people, and there's a lot of people we're not doing deals with because if they can't even negotiate objectively and figure out how we can come out to a mutual beneficial agreement, I'm not wasting my time. We moving, we out and about in the streets and in cyberspace, and we kicking down doors. Because you know what? We only investing in quality relationships.
Pretty much.
The ultimate goal of building mutual beneficial relationships is to create a competitive advantage that leads to mutual success.
You have to adopt the theory, adopt the mindset of winning. As Marcus just said, we're about going above and beyond. And we cannot do that if you are holding on to us, weighing us down like the Cribs did on Monroe Street.
Woo! This requires a strategic approach with both parties work smarter, not harder, by leveraging each other's strengths and compensating for each other's weaknesses.
Absolutely.
Teams can achieve greater efficiency and effectiveness. This not only enhances productivity, but also fosters innovation and growth.
How about that?
When was a time that you had a situation where you could just see the person was just not getting or willing to do a fair deal, even though that you went above and beyond, say, you know what, I can give just a little bit, I'll do this, but you realize that they're not even trying to give a little budge or anything, that you was like, you know what, it's time for me to walk away.
Over the years, we had several cases. You notice it right offhand. It's real easy to notice when someone is involving their emotions into a business transaction. And I was kind on the phone. I was like, "Yes, sir. How you doing today?" Blah blah blah. Being cordial. And he's like, "Okay, we got the deal done. We're gonna send the contract over." And you know, by the way, I got a buddy of mine who does the flyers, and I want him to do the flyers so you
Oh
can
man,
put
it
the.
became a whole weird
Yeah.
conversation.
So I'm like, hold on, man. We have a media company. We do our own flyers and this that, and he was like, yeah, well, it's $100 to do the flyers, and then I'm like, man, I almost wanted to say, I'll give you $100, but we doing our own flyers. You know what I'm saying? But before I could say that, he jumped off the phone and was like, well, we can't do it now. So how I look at those type of situations is dodging a bullet.
The deal from the beginning not going to be right when it comes down to it, because you're going to end up with a whole bunch of nonsense, and then when there is a real problem, oh, you've already scratched the surface of the problem, and you haven't even had a real problem yet, and you haven't had done business yet. So avoid those situations when it comes to people.
I don't get upset about any situation like that at all, because I look at it as if the universe is telling me, hey, this ain't the deal for you. You shouldn't be doing this deal. Or you can get involved in a person on a light scale, and then it grows to a granular scale. And then you wind up losing a lot more. And if you felt like you start thinking like, I wish I would have never did business with this person, whatever. So the universe knows that's your mindset. So somehow it connects to you and kind of steer you away from situations that'll get you deeper into bad circumstances. So I depend on the universe for most of the stuff. So I don't really get upset when I run across a person that's acting up such a way where they have the emotions involved in business and the like. So, but it is very, very important that people understand how to control their emotions when it comes to business. I mean, you can have your emotions when it's due, like you with the family, you playing with the kids, you showing emotions to them, but when you're doing business, emotions cannot be involved. I know several people that really can't stand each other, but they doing great business together.
They are very objective and they work, they understand the deal. So that's where a lot of times contracts are really good, because once you outline everything in the contract, as long as you stick to it, you good. Once you outside of it, you got problems. And not all relationships require such extensive contracts, but it's good to have an understanding when you're building these mutual beneficial relationships. It comes down to your personal lives. When you have your significant other, if the relationship is out of whack, then chances are the relationship is not going to last once the honeymoon phase is over. So you got to be careful and mindful of all these things, because if you don't, you're going to have a one-sided relationship and somebody's going to end up coming up with some hard feelings, and then it's going to explode. So why waste that time? I'd rather invest in a quality relationship where everybody understands what's going on. There's nothing wrong with having an agreement. We can come to a middle ground, long as you know that I'm trying to make a beneficial relationship for both parties. It's not a one-sided thing. This is us in it together. So how can we figure out the problem? Because I'm a problem-solving individual. That's what it's all about, solving problems and getting the job done, taking action. That's why we have Mayville Institute.
Mayville Media Institute is a nonprofit organization that we co-founded for kids in the community. So if we have to go and raise funds from corporations or wealthy individuals or anyone that want to donate, we cannot have our emotions involved in that relationship. We have to look at it as a business transaction. And if they want to provide funds, they can. If they don't, we're not going to get emotional about it. We're going to move on to the next. Understanding that building a strong business relationship is crucial to long term success. What are some of the ways that we can build those strong relationships, business relationships? Well, you could go network. You can network at different events.
Out and about.
Out and about. You can attend industry events. You can join professional groups, leverage your social media to connect with others in the same field as you. One thing is communicating effectively, learning how to communicate. Start there. Learn how to communicate without having your emotions involved by being clear and all your interactions. Make sure that you are being respectful.
Talking about the pillars of success. Being well informed is essential. It's even more advantageous to be surrounded by talented individuals who value each other.
Absolutely.
People are most valuable resources in any organization, any endeavor, because they are the ones who operate the system and drive progress forward. Success is how you do it. We create the system. Boom. Well, the system doesn't work without the right people and have talented people around them. So I'm invested in talented individuals, quality relationships, and I'm going to communicate it thoroughly with you so that you understand there is no miscommunication.
Some of the things that you need to do to create and build that business relationship is just following through with what you say you're going to do, honoring your commitments and delivering on your promises, being reliable, building trust. You know, some of the things you have to do in order to build that strong business relationship that's going to lead to success. Sharing insight, helping with resources, putting people together, introducing good people with each other. That builds goodwill. Being genuine. As I said, show respect. Be interested in your business partner goals. Build personal rapport with your business partner. All these things can enhance your professional connection. Seek feedback from your business partner and listen to what they're saying. You put that type of energy out towards the business, that same energy will be returned.
10 M's fold, putting your best foot forward at the end of the day, because if you're not doing that, what we doing? Why are we wasting time? We ain't got time for none of that. There's nothing else out here. You're just gonna be wasting time spinning your wheels, then you're gonna be back at square one talking about how did I get here. You don't want to be there. We don't want to be there. I ain't trying to sit there with you. If you want to sit there on that bench, you know what? I'm going to say, when you ready to get off the bench and you ready to get in the game, come find me. I'm out here. It's like the best way to build relationships. Like we were saying, in business and life, is through mutual beneficial agreements, staying objective, being knowledgeable, surrounding yourself with the right people, talented and trustworthy. One can create competitive advantages that ensure mutual success. Great leaders recognize this. They value of their people and know how much to manage resources wisely, leading substantial growth and prosperity for all involved. Because like I said, I like to be a transformative entrepreneur. And what that is that's the type of leadership trait that a lot of leaders need to have, is where they'll get in there and they'll roll up their sleeves and be like, oh, I'm going to get in here with you. But at the same time, it's important to know how to delegate responsibilities to people, because everybody has a role to play. And when people don't pull their weight, you know, you got to communicate. Look, I understand you having a bad day. Go home, take a break. We all need it. We get stressed out. I'm going to communicate with you. We're going to pick up this tomorrow. Make sure that you don't leave anybody hanging before you leave, because it's important that you don't do that when you're on a team.
Learn first how to remove your emotions from business. It's not going to happen overnight. It may take some time. You start out with small emotions and small anxieties, and you try to deal with those. But if you can get those emotions out of the way of a business deal, most likely you'll be successful, because if you're doing a business deal with another person and that other person is inclined to do business, and I'm sure if they're successful to be able to provide you with the resources and the help to get it done, as long as those emotions are out of the way, you have a great chance of being successful in any partnership moving forward.
Coach TB likes to talk sports a lot. I got one for Coach TB. Muhammad Ali and Floyd Money Mayweather. They sat there and played with people and got them all emotion, and then they knocked them out. They took them out the game.
That's true. And get your emotions going so that he can beat you in a fight. I was watching a movie not too long ago, back in the 700s.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So that's 700 BCE, right?
Right.
And, that's a long time ago. This is 1,300 years ago. And the Vikings, they would be standing up along this line here, a whole big line of Vikings.
Yeah.
And on the other side, there'd be a whole nother line of Vikings, and they got their shields and their swords. And they standing there and they going, they screaming and they banging on that thing like this to the other guys over there. And those other guys are doing the same thing to them. Why? Stirring up their emotions.
Psychological warfare.
They want their emotions to be involved. Like, oh my God, I'm scared. Look at them. They look like monsters. They're making so much noise. Because your emotions, it can hurt you. Your emotions being involved can really affect your psyche so that you're not psychologically prepared to move forward with what it is you're trying to do. So that's the key. Make sure you got your emotions under control, because it has a grave effect on business relationships when you're trying to be successful and scale in a business.
Make sure that you do take care of your mental health, because it's very important as being an entrepreneur, and don't let these things seep into your mental, play mind games with you. A lot of people suffer from depression. There's nothing wrong with seeking help and talking to professionals about it. If you're having problems, there's hotlines out there, there's people that you can really go see. But do not let your emotions overtake your well-being and fall into a state of depression. I know it can be hard out here. You built strong, you built tough. If you're anything like us, you're gonna come through even stronger every time a situation comes through, because you're doing nothing but being objective, and you're looking at it and like, look, I gotta accomplish this goal. I gotta get over here. I gotta do this. How can I do this the best way, making sure that everybody wins?
MGL makes a good point about taking care of your mental health. I'm working on a second book now in the process about mental health, period. Those that may be dealing with mental health shortcomings or feel like their mental health ain't 100%, don't be ashamed of that. I say work on it. Start little. You find your emotions jumping involved and jumping out of place, just get that under control, knock that out the way, and just knock them down slowly.
Don't hustle backwards. Don't deal with people who hustle backwards, because they're going to keep dragging you back to places you don't want to go and you don't want to be. So keep moving forward. Like the famous, infamous, late, great Milton B said, don't move sideways, backwards, always move forward. Because that's all we can do. We're not going back. We know what it was. We know what it's been. And people have been conditioned to sit there and suffer in silence. And there's no more of that.
I want to thank y'all for checking out the podcast. And again, we want to ask you to like,
share,
and subscribe.
I'm Marcus G.
Coach TB.
We out
and about
in the streets and the cyberspace. Catch you next time.